Okay. All right. I think we should start and just go with it.
You ready, Sam?
Hi, and hello to everyone watching. My name is Samantha Goodman. I'm daughter of Mike and Sarah Goodman. Today I will be giving you a presentation for my bat mitzvah, my 13th birthday. For those of you not familiar with Jewish customs, a bar or bat mitzvah is a celebration of a Jewish child to show they have a deeper understanding of their Jewish identity. I will be giving you a speech from my Torah portion. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible and the Old Testament for those who are Christian. The Jews read a portion of the story each week, year after year, and special sections for holidays. My section was from the book of Numbers. It talks about the counting of various tribes of people coming out of Egypt. I will be telling all of you about all the women I learned and what they taught me throughout the Torah and my life. If you do not know me very well, I'm an Olympic weightlifter. I was born and raised in Kansas City, and my favorite color is purple, and I like RuPaul's Drag Race. My father is from San Francisco, and my mother from Kansas City, who met my father while living in San Francisco. We are a mixed family, and we do things our own way. Since we do not attend a Jewish temple, my father and I came up with our own way to learn about Judaism together. We would watch videos that explain each Torah book chapter by chapter. We would go out, talk about what we learned, and sometimes get a snack or even boba tea. It was a special time to talk with my dad. Genesis had a lot going on, and not a lot of it was easy to understand. In the first portion of Genesis, they talked about the creation of the world and how light separated space. My dad and I talked about how we can see light in our own lives, how the world was made up and all the good and bad people in it. There was firstly Eve, who supposedly ruined the entire world for all women by eating the apple, thus pissing God off. This led to making it painful for women during childbirth, made them men's property, and caused God to just make life terrible for all. It really shows in present-day life now. These stories show people acting badly and God punishing them. Then there was Cain and Abel and the Tower of Babel and God's overall anger about everything. God was just using his power to make what he wanted. He was cruel, mean, and selfish. Then there was Noah, the first word of God in Genesis. He followed God's instructions and built an ark. He was able to save his family and all the animals by listening to the word of God. But he wasn't all good. When the ark docked, he became just like the person God did not want him to. He was drunk, naked, and disgusting. Abraham and Sarah were just a family who wanted kids. They went through great lengths for a child, and God forcefully changed their names. Then there was Sarah, who moved halfway across the world with only her husband to have a child. She was given a promise by God, but he practically failed to fulfill the promise. While she waited, she had her slave Hagar give Abraham a child. But when she gave birth, Sarah was given a child at the age of 90. The story of Abraham and Sarah bothered me a lot. From the story of Isaac, the child of Abraham and Sarah, we were introduced to Rebecca. Rebecca was known for her kindness, but instead of feeding 1 camel, she fed 10. This is Grandma Jeannie, my grandma on my mother's side.
We are happy you're here.
Her kindness was deeply appreciated, and she got married to Jacob. There should have been more about her and what she did. In Exodus, the 2nd book of the Torah, I learned about Rebekah's husband and his family. I learned that Rebekah and Jacob fell in love and got married. There was a problem, though. They wanted a bunch of children, and Rebekah couldn't get pregnant. So she used her slave to be with Jacob and have their children, which is also gross. Over time, the slave and Rebekah ended up fighting over Jacob's love. The slave ended up having 8 boys, and Jacob and Rebekah had 5 children, 3 males and 2 females. While the sons had names and became some of the most important people in the Torah, the 11 sons of Jacob, much like almost every woman, the sisters' names and contributions were made. I'm glad I have a name so I can be remembered and I can use my voice wisely. Moses was one of the wisest word holders of God. When he was a baby, his mother feared his life and tossed him in the water and let him float down to the Pharaoh's house. He got taken in by the Pharaoh's wife and raised in the family. I know Exodus because of Passover. The plagues brought God and Moses, who asked Pharaoh to let my people go. On Passover, we, the Goodmans, like a lot of other Jews, eat matzah soup, questions, we search for the afikoman, and we put out a Seder plate with traditional items. Since we are a mixed faith family, we add an artichoke to symbolize mixed faith marriages, and an orange to recognize and support our LGBT friends. Along with the cup for Prophet Elijah, we leave out a cup for Miriam, Moses' sister. Miriam, like Pharaoh's daughter in Exodus, did not have a name. This woman who took care of one of the most important Jewish characters, Moses, was not given a name or proper respect. We sing, "Let my people go," and "Thank you for being a friend." It's one of my favorite holidays. I look forward to getting together, the food, and especially the haroset. In Leviticus, I learned about the laws and the regulations of the people under Moses. That is also when Moses climbed the mountain to get the 10 Commandments, aka the rules and the law. These were new, free people, and they needed guidance. They wanted it from Moses. The law covered a lot, but in little detail that you would find them helpful. It was mainly about dietary laws, which were considered meat, love, and lastly alcohol, which was considered a sin and breaking God's trust. In Leviticus, I also learned about the consequences that would happen if you disobeyed God's rule. One being so terrible that you had to eat your own children. There were also a lot of laws on how clothes were made and how they sacrifice animals every day, which is disgusting as well. But I'm glad we don't do that now because I'm a pescatarian. I don't eat meat. Honestly, the rest of this chapter is pretty dry and difficult to understand and hard to feel connected to. I understand rules guide us, but I don't relate to most of these rules. I learn new rules in life from others every day, like what to do in school, how to treat others, how to lift right, and how to be a good person. There are many more that I learn and create day after day. In the 4th book of the Torah, called Numbers, I learned about the counting of people in Egypt and them leaving to be a free person. Not exactly all people, because they only counted men and male children, not women or female children. I don't know exactly why they didn't count women and girls. I have a feeling I know why they didn't count women as equals. They only valued males thinking they could do everything, but not realizing they didn't know how to cook, clean, and basically live. It would almost be a choice between life and death. I personally think that all people should be counted. I would want to be counted as a person. I'm not a child anymore, but I'm not an adult yet. I'm still a work in progress. I will grow and strive for good. I feel that I'm at the age where I discover new things and interesting stuff. Also, now that I'm 13, I have responsibility for my family, friends, and my own actions. In the Torah, they don't talk about a lot of women, just mainly men. It's hard to connect with women in the Torah because these women are just mainly owned by men. Some of the women I've learned about my life are very special to me. They make me who I am, and I am grateful. They're my grandmothers, my aunts, and my mother. There are others, including men and men who dress as women. But I'm only going to speak about women today. I've interviewed them asking them the same questions. Just like Passover, when I ask a question, I know the answer will always be different. I asked them, what do you remember about being 13? What is something you know now that you wish you knew back then? And what role has religion played? My grandmother on my mother's side is Grandma Jeannie. She's 94, very religious. She's very devoted to family, loves going to church once or twice a week. With my Grandpa Tom, they raised 9 kids. My Grandpa Tom died when I was 3, so I don't remember much about him. But he was also very religious and very funny. He would always want coffee, donuts, ice cream, cookies, basically anything sweet. We had that in common. I wish she was here so we could go get a donut. They were married over 60 years and loved each other very much. I talk to her because she has lots of memories that she loves to share. I know my grandma loves me. My Grandma Jeannie shared with me that when she was 13, World War II started. Not a lot of kids her age, but a lot of boys at her school over the age of 16 left to go fight in the war. She also remembers that when some of her friends with older brothers left, those girls did not take it well. She said that some of them stopped going to school when they realized their brothers weren't coming back. I then spoke with my Aunt Mary. She's also my godmother and is very involved with my life. Mary was an Army nurse and served in the First Gulf War. She's the oldest female sibling of 7 girls and has 2 older brothers. She gave Bosco to my parents as a wedding gift. One thing I like about Mary is she's generous and she spoils me. I spoke to her because when she served in a war and religion played a giant role for those who served. Mary mentioned that faith doesn't always have to happen in a temple or church, but could just be like something happened to someone and you're thinking of them, or you can pray at home or in another special spot. That could also mean like a special spot that you two might have shared. But you could also just, when you see him next, speak with a wish. My Aunt Kathy, the 5th child of the Cox family, lives in the old family home. She was a Royals Lancer just like my Grandpa Tom. She would always invite me to sleep over, and we would hang out all day just crafting, hanging out, or going to Royals games. I don't remember ever watching the game. I do remember spending the Royals bucks and eating nachos with her. She mentioned she started babysitting at the age of 13, Kathy nannying for a Jewish family which we are connected to via V. Kathy mentioned that she wished she had learned a lot more about other faiths when she was younger. I also talked to Kathy because she's a very different aunt and she did stuff very differently than others. I then spoke to Anna Martin, who is my Olympic weightlifting coach. She has taught me the sport and all the skills I have now. She is a female gym owner with her partner Shalina Kearley. Anna is also the president of the Missouri Valley Weightlifting Group. She is also the only woman ever elected in the USAW and is the female president for the last 10 years of the Missouri Valley Group. Anna is very strong and determined in her life and pushes me to exceed and grow. I spoke to Anna because she has not only taught me a lot, whether lifting, but also in life itself. Faith plays a huge role in her life. It directs her entire life. She's just very religious and wants to do the right thing. Anna believes that faith guides her down her own path. I also talked to Tracy, who is the mother of 2 of my closest friends, Adam and Sophia. She's almost like a second mother and always treats me well when I'm around. At the age of 13, she had been in America for only 5 years. She decided she would change her name from Yahweh to Tracy. I spoke to Tracy because she has an extremely different religion and beliefs than everyone else I know. She got to decide her entire life, and which was also including her name. Tracy mentioned that she does not have faith or religion that is leading her down a path, but she still believes that she has a pretty good life with the path or not. She believes humanity and kindness help her lead the way. Tracy is not religious, but she shares her culture with us through the food she makes her husband cook us. My Aunt Muriel from my dad's side was the youngest child of the 3 Goodman children. She lives in Casper, Wyoming, and is married to my uncle Nick Ridgway. She's a nature lover and has an amazing dog with Misha. I spoke to Muriel because she was not a huge Jewish person throughout her life, and I wanted to see what she had to say. She told me a few terrible things happened when she got to the age of 13. She said she started to follow others and not go down her own path in life. She also said that she did not have much faith and her relationship to religion is indirect. She doesn't follow the path she is given, but she's making her own path on the way. Muriel is always fashionably late and always super stylish. Grandma Rowena, my grandma on my dad's side, is 75 and lives in San Francisco, California, born and raised in LA. For a while, she was married to my Grandpa Reuben, who passed last year. She raised 3 kids by herself in San Francisco and did the best she could. She's Jewish and taught all her kids the Jewish culture and passed down the traditions. I interviewed her because she is one of the only other Jews I know and that I am related to. Grandma Rowena told me that when she was little, her parents divorced, and at the time she got a stepdad and a sort of extra mom and a woman named Florence. She was a widower and friends with great-grandpa Ed. She had 2 sons. She would always cook Jewish food, take all the kids to synagogue, and do all the Jewish holidays. On the other side, however, she said her stepfather was a Protestant and taught her all the Protestant Christian traditions. My grandma is very open, direct, and spoils me. I have great memories with her for the summer I spent in San Francisco. Time with her and my grandpa, lots of walks around the city. I'm glad my grandma's here today. Something I noticed that was common amongst all the women was they mentioned that when they were 13, they were poor, or they feel like their clothes were not nice, or they were hand-me-downs. Some of them even mentioned they started worrying about the clothes they wore and how it made them look, leading them to be insecure about themselves. A lot of them also wished they knew more about culture, race, and religion back then. They also wanted to know more about other religions, not just Christianity or Judaism. It was interesting to me that they all mentioned that faith or culture was a huge part of their life, from holidays to seeing family, to seeing people they haven't seen in years. I learned that I am very lucky to have a family, no matter how strict they are on me. Their teaching has made me who I am today. Lastly, my mother, Sarah. My mom is the youngest child of 9. She loves supporting the stuff that is right, by race, culture, color of your skin to sexuality. I really like going to places my mom likes and seeing her in her element. My favorite memory of my mom is taking me to Winstead's, a diner in Kansas City, on the last day of kindergarten with all my friends and getting 2 giant skyscrapers Sundays for me and my friends. My mom always has the right idea at the right time. Our house is always welcoming and she makes others feel at home. Mom mentioned that she started caring how she acted and looked because she was different, because she went to a Catholic school. She dressed differently and acted differently. She just said that to be who you are and not to be someone else. My mom is my role model. She tells me all the right stuff to believe and not to believe. She's always there when I need her, no matter what. I can see why people find the Torah interesting, but honestly, it was not super helpful. I will most likely read this when I am older and look at it another way, but for right now, I'm only 13. I'm just glad I have the knowledge that I need to know right now. I know this speech is about women, but I want to talk a little bit about my dad. He's definitely changed my life. He was the person that pushed me to do this bat mitzvah.
Read the speech. We got this.
He's the person that pushed me to do this bat mitzvah and to learn more about my Jewish background.
It's okay.
Come on, kid. It's all right.
See, I'm fine too.
After all, he is the Jew of the family. Dad told me that he enjoyed having great-grandpa Ben and great-grandma Bee to Passover and Hanukkah with. To this day, he still goes back and watches the videos of them all singing and eating. We use the same Passover book that they used and sing the same songs they did. Over time, the songs have changed my perspective about Judaism. Besides my dad's favorite part, Dayenu and Haroset, which are my favorite, is a Yiddish poem, Zog Nit Kimel, written by poet Herschel Glick, composed during the Warsaw Uprising during the Holocaust 78 years ago, in April and May. His grandparents sang this song, and we still sing and recite it to this day. He believes the song represents something special, and he thinks the words might help me realize that you are you and you're better than who people want you to be. I never say that there is only death for you through leaden skies, maybe concealing days of blue. The hour we have hungered for is near. Beneath our steps the earth shall tremble, we are here. There is a favorite song of my great-grandma Bee's called Raisins and Almonds. It is a lullaby about a child growing up and moving away. I will perform it with my great-grandma's help. It is a courtesy for a Jewish child to recite something in Hebrew, but I will be speaking Yiddish.
I have to press it. So if you're on the Zoom, you can watch the video. So how do you do that?
You want to share your screen?
Correct tab.
Put on those chairs,
Mike,
yeah.
you did not prepare this.
I don't know how to do a Zoom.
Let the kids do it. Put the young kids in charge, Mike. Kids get in there.
Yeah, a year and a half. You share your screen. You play your music on your screen.
Share your screen. Good job. One, share screen.
I haven't been there since 5th grade, so I don't know who you're talking about. The flu isn't even.
Shut down the school. Oh, that was what's the no ELA teacher.
Hold on, we're gonna get
Mr. Mack. Mr. Mack was also like, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Just you have to scream it.
All I know is Coach Cochran. I like it.
I think our humanity is
One of my key is Adam. Coach Cochran.
Oh, no, my mom wants to
hold on, here we go. Thanks, Grandma.
Oh my god. He got accepted and he decided to not go.
Seance is complete.
Yeah, you're not going to let your Well, hi, nice to meet you. Let's hear it.
She's on.
But nobody here can hear it.
How do we do that?
You can't.
Oh, was that Dan?
Dan's on.
Hey, Dan.
Okay.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Oh, thanks, Dan. Why aren't you here to do that?
Thanks, Dan.
Do I see something now?
Dan.
It's gonna happen.
Play the audio.
Can you copy link and send it into the Zoom so everybody can watch it? Do you know how to? Do you know how to copy the link?
Tell everybody you'll send the link. We'll send you the link.
How about now? Dan? Okay. Here's B.
But nobody here, I don't think you all can hear it or see it. And you can see the
Adam's already stood up.
That laptop's only so loud.
You're not going to be able to see me probably, but I'm going to try.
I think someone has hit. Someone has hit me.
Working?
Like hit. Sometimes I accidentally.
Yeah, just stand there and hold the computer started so they can see us.
Turn it up there.
Guess what?
Come on.
My mom is lying.
That's because you can hear it. Leave it to Ryan.
My mom doesn't have a face.
Jewish people, Yiddish-speaking people who sang their children to sleep with a song like this. And it starts out telling about the young widow who was sitting in the room in the Church, which is the little room in the temple. And she's rocking her little boy to sleep with this book. In dem Beis Hamikdash, in a Winkel Heide, die Manne, was sie allein. Ihr werdet jachedel jedele, liegt sie gesteigen und singt in a Liedele, schlafen so viel. Unter jedes Wiegele steht ein kleines Ziegele. Das Ziegele ist gefroren handeln. Das wird sein dein Maruf. Loschen handeln. Schlafsche Jidele, Schlafsche Jidele, Schlaf.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
In conclusion, all women have played an extremely important role in my life. Family, friends, friends and friends. It does not matter who they were, but what they taught me throughout my entire life has made me who I am today. A strong, independent, funny, different type of woman. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for working to make this happen. Thank you for the party and dress. I love you. Thank you. That is all I have. I just want to say thank you for coming. And if you can't love yourself, then how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? Now let the music play.
Jump in the pool! I know how to swim so I probably won't.
I don't know. I guess it's run away. Where are they going?
Jump into the pool. I need to jump into the pool. I know.
All right. Is that over?
I know. That was kind of me too. Where were the tissue? Go to soccer and we'll be back.
Sam, say thanks for watching. Hamotzi lechem miharetz. And the blessing over the wine, everybody, if you'll raise your glass. Should be familiar for most of you that have been to our house for Passover. David's favorite prayer. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Do it again, do it again. All right. Okay, guys, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
And it's a lullaby where the mother is singing to her little boy in the cradle, and she's telling him that someday he will grow up to go and sell in the market. He'll sell raisins and almonds, and even when later on when he's older and there are big iron trains going around the whole world, he too will travel on the trains and he'll sell more raisins and almonds. It's just one of those old songs from the immigrant and Eastern European Jewish people, the Yiddish-speaking people who sang their children to sleep with a song like this. And it starts out telling about the young widow who is sitting in the room in the Beis Hamikdash, which is the little room in the temple, and she's rocking her little boy to sleep with this song. In dem Beis Hamikdash, in a winkel heder, sitzt die Almane, was sie han allein. Ben Yachidol Yidele, wiegt sie Geseder und singt ihm a Liedele, schlafen soll gehen. Lu, 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 lu. Unter Yideles Wiegele steht a Kloweis Ziegele. Das Ziegele ist gefolgen Handeln. Das wird sein dein Beruf. Rasch in Käse mit Handeln. Schlaf, Jidele, schlaf. Schlaf, Jidele, schlaf. Es wird kommen a Zeit von eiserne Bahnen, sie will verfletzen a ganze Welt. Eiserne Wegen wirst du euch spannen und fest in sie hechet verdienen viel Geld. Ai, lu, 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 lu. Unter Yideles Wiegele steht a Kloweis Ziegele. Das Ziegele ist gefolgen Handeln. Das wird sein dein Beruf. Rajinges mit Mandeln. Das wird sein dein Beruf. Rajinges mit Mandeln. Well, actually, Denise, that music isn't. Oh.
I just want to say thank you for coming. And if you can't love yourself, then how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? Amen.